Great. All right, go ahead.
Screen. And then if somebody sees more voting members show up, feel free to just interrupt me because I won't necessarily see them. Um, So once we have a quorum, we'll review the meeting minutes. We can talk project budget. We've got some really exciting construction progress images as well as a video that Consigni's put together, another drone video. We'll talk a little bit about the schedule, both the construction schedule as well overall project schedule. And then we have a couple things in other business to talk about, including the topping off ceremony that Lorraine was mentioning earlier. And actually, sort of on the topic of quorums and membership and voting, there is a slight change in the SBC roster. We've submitted this to MSBA. So Cardelise Paez is now the on the city council, and for Ward 5, I believe. And so she'll be taking over a slot that was previously held by
Diana.
Diana Chakutis, I believe.
Correct.
So once we get that back from the MSBA, then this will be official, but the number of people for a quorum doesn't change because it's still 21 voting members. We'll
Uh,
table that.
I think you may have a quorum now, but I'll go on and say the project budget report. To date, we have committed 96% of the budget and expended 34%, and our construction is at 34% complete as well. I will say that we just today submitted for review our project funding agreement bid amendment for MSBA to put together their bid amendment document for the city to get back, review, and sign.
Great.
Um,
And
Go ahead, sorry.
so in terms of our cash flow, we are at an actual spent to date of 64,242,757. We're tracking behind our projected just due to the delay in the year's construction schedule.
That brings us to sort of the main event for tonight, which is another construction update. And so for that, I'll turn things over to Brandon.
But before we start that, did we confirm if we have a quorum?
Still not by my count. I'm still short by two.
Okay. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yep, no problem. Thank you. So this is a shot of the logistics plan that we've been showing the group the last couple months, right? Preparation into structural steel, and then now that we're really in the nitty gritty of it, this is what you see for the next month or so, mainly still as we continue. Our crane, we actually moved it from our, call it position A, where we were erecting the northwest part of the job. We've moved it into our position B, which is much like the spot of the crane on the right. Is outside of the building footprint now, which lets us work our way back towards the temporary parking and trailer area to work our way out and finish our erection, which, like we said before the meeting, we'll talk about the topping off, which is scheduled for March 20th. So we'll run through some photos, Craig, if you want to click next. Perfect. So this is some progress back from the end of January, kind of show how we've gotten here. So on the left was continued steel erection. So that's up level 3, level 4 columns, working on the level 4 slab elevation. That's that crane position A that I referenced earlier. So inside the building footprint and really got everything in that northwest corner working towards that temp parking. On the right is a shot of our duct bank. So while we've worked on the structure, we've continued with what we need to on the site. So this was showing some of the secondaries coming in from that transformer location towards the building, and then it actually takes another sweep, which would be screen right through the foundation wall and into what is the area right beneath our electrical room to tie into all that equipment. So I think there's another photo. You'll see that progress further, but we've since been able to place that concrete, which is great. The shot on the left here is the stairs that have been going in. So a strategy that Consigli uses as a whole when we can is to get the stairs in with our structural steel. Provides a much safer means of access for everyone working from now on, right? So we're going to temp in these stairs with some handrails, make them safe, and that will always have safe permanent access, and nothing temporary goes in. So it's a budget plus as well as a safety plus for everyone on the site. On the right is a continued shot of the steel erection. So this is a column being flown up onto the fourth floor, more towards the northwest side of that site. The shot on the left here is our temp weather enclosure. So this was before it got buttoned up 2 weeks ago. The reason we do this is we can do some temp heating, which allows us to complete our fireproofing within the parameters of the temperature requirements, but also allows us to tackle the level 2 concrete slab. So we're going to talk about some key milestone dates, but we're working right up against our goal of hitting our first slab placement, which is great, a little ahead of our milestone date. On the right here is a look of, sorry, the level 2 slab. See some of the snow we've battled, as everyone else has here, right? And a shot of that stair as well from level 2 up to level 3. On the left here is that shot I referenced of a little more progress for the secondaries conduits. You can see them actually terminating into the building on the top of that photo. So it's got all the sand bedding in that it's need. Everything's formed up so it can then be placed and encased in concrete. There's more details after this that happen to get to that proper watertight termination through the foundation wall. But like I said, we've since been able to progress through that and even do some concrete placements to get that closer to being done. On the right is a shot of from the northwest corner, just kind of showing that elevation progress of the structural steel, and then the tarping that's been tightened up on that corner as well. All right,
I'll
I am
stop
going
sharing.
to share my screen here. All right, does everyone have that video up? Looks like it.
Yes.
So this is kind of flying in from the west side of the site towards the school. This was done the week of 210. So even now, if you're driving past locally, there's been progress since this was really made. So you can see some big differences in real life, but you can see we've gone through levels 2, 3, 4, and are about to hit level 5 or 6, which is the roof, in this video. So you really kind of get the breadth of what we've been able to do. And this is a pan out kind of from the southwest corner, showing a little bit of a different angle. You can see that roof deck, which is in the middle with some snow on it here, but you could see that opening for the future skylight. So we're making some great progress. This is, again, the crane in position 1. It's since moved, which allows us to keep going. We got some big deliveries today of some large pieces of steel as we start to tackle the area above what's going to be the gym. So you'll see some big pieces come in and go up over the next couple of weeks to really form that southeast corner of the building. All right. Before I jump off of this, any questions about any of the photos we shared or video? Fantastic. Oh, Lorraine, I see your hand.
I just haven't, I've been having little nightmares about the height because when I see it, when I look up and see how huge this building is, and I think of kids on the fifth, fourth, and third floor, where can you show me where the exits are going to be on that Sisson parking lot?
So it's going to be a little tough. I'm sorry with so the main entry is going to be over here.
Yep, I got that.
There's an exit on the north side, I believe. And then there's also a stair. Unfortunately, I don't have a view of it with this drone video, but on the east side, on the back side of the building. So there's a handful of exits at different elevations that I know RDAs, I don't think I saw them, but they'd be able to speak more to why things were selected and how they're planning for folks to get out of the building from a code perspective. But there are multiple ways to egress, Lorraine.
Okay, and there was one other thing I wanted to ask you. I got an email today that there was a problem at Sisson.
Yeah, so I guess for the rest of the group, we do want to give you guys that kind of info and update. So the some teachers notified, I believe, the city, who then called us immediately on the project team that there were some odors in the school. That happened early this morning. So our team went over and investigated with left field to try and see what the source was, what if there was a cause from our site. Um, while doing that, we have a whole bunch of CO monitors set up in our construction site that protects our workers. So we're tracking any sort of gases and things that could happen, which with the building being tarped in is especially important. But our staff also wears a personal CO monitor. So they went through the entire building wearing that to make sure there was no gases or things that we had to be worried about, that were because of those comments about some sort of fumes that were happening. So what we did find as a potential source was a temporary heater. Seemed to have a fuel issue and might have been a little smellier than normal in terms of the odor that it's producing during combustion. So we immediately shut that off, pulled that out of service. I believe the school opened the windows, we're able to air out the classrooms. So we'll be taking a look and see if that heater was really the source. And if there's anything we got to do to address that, then we certainly will as a group. But we pulled that immediately out in case it is, and everyone will have their eyes on this as we continue forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Craig, if you want to take back over.
Yep. Right. So just a couple real high level milestones. So we've been talking about the structural steel. It was, first piece went in December 23rd, and Consigli is still tracking towards finishing the steel, at least the crane leaving the site. So like major pieces being up by April 2026, and then there'll be a couple months of detailing and finishing that structure up. Concrete is sort of another big milestone, and so the second floor slab on deck is going to be the first concrete being placed, and that is trending towards mid-March, maybe even actually a little bit earlier, sort of the earlier side of mid-March.
Yep.
That's looking very, very hopeful, but of course weather dependent, and we all know that's been a little bit crazy recently. Another big step is the under slab utilities down at the first floor. So those began yesterday or maybe today with the plumbing subcontractor coming on, and that's anticipated to complete mid to late April 2026. Here we are on the overall schedule, towards the end of February, and we see that we're still in the first, let's say, quarter of the main school's construction, maybe even fifth, but chugging along, moving along. As Brandon was saying, things are going at a nice clip now. Any questions about the schedule or construction schedule or milestones before we continue on? Great. So upcoming meetings. So our next regular SBC meeting is going to be March 18th. But then a special event is being planned for Thursday the 20th. That's a steel topping off ceremony. At the time I put this together, the exact time hadn't been pinned down, but it has now. It's going to be 10 a.m. on, oh, that shouldn't say Thursday. I'm sorry. That should say Friday, March 20th. In the official version we put on the website, I'll correct that so we don't cause confusion, and I'll put in the 10 a.m. start. But a little bit more about that, just to give everyone a flavor. Many of you may have attended steel topping off ceremonies in the past, but if you haven't, it is a big milestone for the project. We did the groundbreaking ceremony over here in the off of the property, and that was open to the public. It was great. This steel topping off, in order to do all of the parts of the ceremony, we're actually going to be on a live construction site. And so for that reason, instead of being open to the public, this event is going to be by invite only. And of course, everyone on the building committee is invited, city council, school committee, bunch of others, MSBA. So we will be sending those invitations out very soon. I was working with Valerie over in Mayor Nicholson's office to get that buttoned up. So those will be going out pretty soon, just a PDF invitation. Lorraine, I see you've got a hand up.
I just wanted to make sure that former school committee members that worked over these years on this project are invited to this. Member Capola, Member Dugan, and Member Ford. Could you make sure they're invited?
Yes, that is a great point. I'll do that. I'll go back through the old the old rosters and pick up anybody who's been involved from the building committee and school committee. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Also in
So
attendance.
Craig, you may not have some of those people's
we
emails
have it.
as
We
they were
have it.
before this project. So you'll
Yeah.
have to, yeah.
Craig, just reach out, work with my office because we have that. And we'll invite the former counselors as well. We
Will
have all
do.
that.
Fantastic.
Yep.
One of the nice things that we were able to work out is that there will be a group of students in attendance. At the groundbreaking, there was a big group there, and that was great. It sort of reminded everybody why we do all these big projects is for the students. And so there'll be a group of students from both Pickering and Sisson, and a couple teachers to chaperone them. So they'll be there. We've also, part of the ceremony, you can see here, this red shape is kind of where we're going to have, as guests, we'll have access to the site. We won't have access to the whole site. We won't have access to the building itself, but people will come in. There'll be some parking over here behind the trailers. We're going to set up a tent in case of inclement weather because this is a rain or shine event. Once we've got it scheduled, we can't we can't bump it without having to pay for the crane to hang around for an extra week or two. There'll be a large beam that Consigli and their team have handpicked as sort of a monumental beam, and they painted it white. And so part of the ceremony is everyone gets to sign the beam, including the students that are there. For the students who can't attend because they're not in that group, Consigli has designed and will be printing two large like vinyl banners. And so those will be delivered to Sisson and Pickering so that the kids and teachers and whoever wants can sign those banners. And then those banners will be hung on the bottom of the beam so that they'll also have that experience of, signing this the physical act of signing something that's kind of being mounted on the building. Then those banners, they'll come down and, there's a couple different options for what we can do with them. Either storing them away for antiquity or bringing them out for the ribbon cutting and having them as sort of like, hey, remember a couple years ago event. So the event itself, like I said, everyone gets to sign the beam. There'll be a number of speakers. There'll be some photographs taken probably with the beam. Then the beam will be hoisted in place. And that's kind of, that's a big part of the ceremony. And then afterwards, Consigli is going to host a lunch for the workers, and then all of the attendees are also invited to that. As part of maybe not a historical tradition, but a modern tradition is the construction manager oftentimes buys commemorative T-shirts and hands those out to the workers. And we thought, oh, well, that would be fun to hand those out to the attendees as well. And so they're going to get a batch of safety orange or safety yellow T-shirts for the workers so that they can actually wear them while they're on site, say in the summer. But then a different color that's like a blue, maybe the Pickering blue or something like that for the other guests. Something I didn't mention, but is worth mentioning is that a number of teachers will be bringing their classes out and watching at least the hoisting of the beam. They won't be able to hear the speeches because it'll be too far, but they'll be able to watch that hoisting of the beam from the current temporary asphalt playground or play area. Any questions about the steel topping off ceremony? Yes, Tom.
It's not about that. I just had two questions quick. I don't want to hold everybody up. Is there a city preference for hiring construction jobs on this site? I might have missed that in some of the earlier meetings.
I guess
You talking about local workforce?
Yes.
Jesus, it's been a while. Brandon, do you recall?
there's no specific requirement, Tom, but we've
Okay.
where we could, we've made sure to use local resources as much as possible, but it's not a hard written requirement on this one.
Okay, appreciate that. And I'm going to go back to the tariff situation on the steel. I know it was being kicked around before we kind of really went online. Um, this is $1 million for the city. Obviously, the ruling came down from the Supreme Court just this week, and it's probably going to take a long time. No, and the president, he can't really go anywhere else in court. He's at the top. He'll delay as long as he can to get these funds. If at the end of this project isn't completed, I'm going to ask Mr. Mayor, is the city going to take up and try and recoup this $1 million? Because, you know, with the electric bill, it's going to be so high that could go for like 4 years. I looked at possibly, paying for the electric bill in the school. It's a significant sum of money, obviously.
Yeah, we'll certainly evaluate that. I'll raise that with the city solicitor, and we can try to see if we can do that. We have been in close touch with the Attorney General, Massachusetts Attorney General, on a lot of these issues, and they've been really successful in
Right.
challenging some of his actions. And particularly if this affects a lot of public projects, maybe there's a group of us in Massachusetts that could to make that case with the help of the Attorney General. So.
Great. Thank you very much.
Um, Another exciting thing that happened was Lynn Voc Tech Institute sent a group of their metal fabrication students over to the site. This is back in January 20th. Brandon, you want to talk a little bit? I wasn't there. Do you want to talk a little bit about this event?
Yeah, we had another great site visit with the students. So we got a chance to look at some of the erection that was happening at the time. Got a little up close with some of the decking and detailing that they were doing. One of the great things we had the ability to do was we brought in the owner of Boss Steel, who actually has a background going to a vocational school, becoming an iron worker, then opening up his own company. So he gave the kids 45 minutes of time to ask whatever questions they had, whether it be career, school, different things about the union. So we had another great visit. Our next one we're planning on will be with the carpentry students again. When we get a little further along with some exterior framing, they can see kind of the next step since they've seen the concrete forming side of it. Now they'll get to see kind of another scope of work that they could have a hand on in the future. So it was another good one.
That's great. Yeah.
Another interesting update, or hopefully an interesting update. So many moons ago, there was discussion about a time capsule, and then Flory, thank you, you brought it up again last month, and so that was sort of our catalyst to get things moving again. So in coordination with the school, we're honing in on a plan, and so the design team proposed a couple locations. The school selected this one right here, which it's tough to tell where it is, but it's in the main lobby. The learning stair is this handrail that you see or guardrail that you see going up. And so it's in this section of wall beneath the learning stair. So it's very visible. And there's this nice kind of cavity or void behind the wall. So we're not taking away space from any of the actual rooms. So we've got a location. This is a product that was used on a recent project, which is a stainless steel, specifically a time capsule box, which will get mounted in the wall, and behind like a little panel door. The school has identified a group of students, which is I think it's called the Leadership Club. So they're going to take on the task of researching and deciding what they want to put in that capsule, which is actually the fun part. And there's a teacher, Mr. Green, who's going to sort of facilitate that. And they've got from now until basically summer 2027. So they've got just over a year to plan this out and make it like an educational experience. And then at that time, in the meantime, the design team and Consigli will be working to put in the framing and get it all set up so it's physically ready to accept those contents. And then, closer to the date, we can plan some kind of fun event or commemoration for actually putting the stuff in and locking it up. Any
Thanks.
questions about that?
Nope. Thank you. I did have a question for Brandon. Was this project bought out with markup in mind for the facade? I think I've asked this before.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that, Flory. There's
Yeah.
no dedicated, separate, standalone mockup
All right.
specified. We will be doing first installs, and we have a whole window testing QA QC program, and we do a lot of quality pre-ops and meetings and trade meetings. So it's still a ton of attention, right? It's the priorities to make it go in and go in right and function.
Okay.
So we will still have that assurance, but we do not have a standalone mock-up in the documents here.
Okay. Thank you. And where are we with like finishes? The whole process, Craig?
So everything's been selected. We've
Yep.
gone through and done the submittals for everything. Now that we know what those are all going to be. So those are all just in the different levels of basically being procured. So we should be in great shape for when we need them on site.
And all the conversations being tracked on Procore or just email based? I
So
hope
all
not.
our submittals, all our documentation goes through Procore.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Flory, somewhat recently, I want to say it was maybe the December meeting or maybe even the November meeting. Gene gave a presentation. I'm not sure if you were there for that, but I can send you a link to the actual presentation, and then of course it also shows up on the website.
For some reason, I thought that was just partial, some interior finishes during that meeting. And I think we was talking about
It was sort of like the
clusters.
color, yeah, the color palette. You got it, you got it.
Right.
And so then the design team sort of getting the agreement or confirmation from the building committee, then they've taken those colors, and then as they're selecting all of the specific materials like the tile
Sure.
and the paint, they're using that as their guide.
Okay. All right. All good. Thank you.
So, any other questions from the committee? I think that was it. Yeah. And our website and YouTube channel. Check them out. Point anyone who's in the community asking questions, you can send them there. It's kind of got everything. And that drone video that Brandon was showing in this meeting, Left Field will upload that as well. The previous drone video has been up there for the last month, so hopefully people are making their way there and getting a feel for how things are going on site.
Looking
Great.
good.
So we'll just do the minutes at the next meeting.
Yes.
We don't have anything else to vote tonight. I just want to say that we know we've been doing a lot of this project for many years, and it's very exciting that the community can now see that progress happening before their eyes with the way this building is going up now. I know that the city is very excited, and I really appreciate everyone on this committee and the whole team involved in the project for the ongoing momentum, and very excited to celebrate the milestone with you all in a couple weeks.
That's
Awesome.
for sure.
Great.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good night. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. Thank you.